Hey, I'm Mechanical Engineer, and today we're going to be taking a look at Talyn Alpha's latest fight footage.
That's right. Oh!
So just a week or so ago, I had the privilege of fighting my 1-pound bot Talyn at the latest Arizona Robotic combat event. I had an absolute blast, as I always do, and I'm definitely planning on attending the next event. Link for it in the description. If you'd like to see more information on Talyn, like how I built it, I'll leave a link to a video about it down below. If you've already seen the Talyn building video, there is one thing I would like to note. For the little tiny metal strip that I was going to mount at the front of my wedge, I ended up just hot gluing that on because I was so close to the max weight limit I couldn't afford to bolt it on with screws because it would send me over. That obviously wasn't the best option, but I didn't have a whole lot of other choices. But with all that being said, without any further ado, let's jump into the actual competition.
Red blue square, ready. 3, 2, 1, fight!
Now beginning to see Talyn charging right out of the gate. Its wedge has been bent. Going in from the back, trying to get that wedge underneath Tsunami. Talyn showing great control. Tsunami seems to be having a little bit of drive problems. Talyn taking advantage of this. Uh-oh, Tsunami might be dead in the water. Can he get that drum up to speed? Talyn showing great pushing power as he rams Tsunami into the wall and goes for the flip. Uh-oh, that blade is up to speed on Tsunami. Now it's a fight. Talyn shoving Tsunami into the wall. Getting a nice flip again. Oh, he's got the clamp. 2 minutes left in this fight. Taking him over to the pit. You can only hold your opponent for 30 seconds though. But he is going to use that 30 seconds to his advantage and give Tsunami a tour of every wall in this arena.
Go for the ceiling!
Excellent driving. Another flip. Uh-oh! Oh, Tsunami frees himself. Talyn showing excellent control, excellent aggression. Showing flip after flip against Tsunami. We've got 40 seconds until that pit drops. Can Tsunami turn the tide? Tough crowd, tough crowd.
5 out of 5.
Nice flip by Talyn. We have 20 seconds until the pit drops. Tsunami seems to be driving pretty well now. Oh! There goes the wedge. Uh-oh! Talyn, not looking good. There's the self-drive. Oh! That pit drops in 1 second.
So here is my front wedge and base plate after the fight. As you can see, the front corner of my wedge got just completely cracked off, and the only thing that's holding it together right now is the hot glue from the front metal wedge piece. Now we have the base plate. As you can see, the base plate has really got chewed up quite badly. This is what it's supposed to look like, have that upside down. But lucky for us, as you can see, all of the motor mounts are basically still there, so I was able to keep driving with really without any trouble at all. Now the main HDPE frame of the robot did take a few hits in this fight, but nothing too crazy, and I was actually able to use that same frame throughout the whole entire competition. It did really well, but I'll talk more about that towards the end of the video. On to the next fight.
Flipper seems to be working pretty well.
Blue square!
Both sides are ready.
3, 2, 1, fight!
And they're off. Talyn right out of the gate. Trying to land a flip. Lifting Jumping Choya up into the air. The Jumping Choya trying to position that weapon. Oh! Ripping off the chunk of Talyn's wedge. Bits of plastic flying all over the arena. Talyn doing his best to avoid that spinner, but still landing hits. Excellent driving by Jumping Choya. Talyn flipped over, but able to self-right. And self-rights again. Without that front wedge, it seems Talyn is having trouble getting underneath Jumping Choya. Doesn't need it to push it to the wall. Ooh. Clamping down. Oh, almost grabbing Jumping Choya. Nice hit there. Down comes the arm, trying to fight onto Jumping Choya. Getting a nice pin to the wall. The Jumping Choya attacking with that vertical hit. Good series of hits. 52 seconds until the pit drops. Piece of something just went flying. Ooh, solid hit there. Another plastic piece is gone. 30 seconds until the pit drops. Talyn saving his wedge piece from falling into the pit. Both robots staring eye to eye. Or eye to cacti. Good Jumping Choya. 7 seconds until that pit drop. Massive hit by Jumping Choya. The pit is now open. Can one robot shove the other into it though? Talyn playing a dangerous game. Jumping on the Jumping Choya's shoulder. Nice hit there. Talyn taking hit after hit and still recovering. It's a tough spot, I'm telling you. 36 seconds left. Can he get into that pit? 30 seconds. Seems like the arm cannot come back. He's moving it off purpose. Yes, he is. A few more hits and a few more flips to try to impress the judges. 10 seconds remain. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Match over.
Now, parts of my bot got chewed up pretty well in this fight, like this top cover piece. As you can see, that really just got eaten into, but not too much major damage. I think I just had to replace this top piece and glue on a new metal strip to the front of my robot before I could fight in the next fight. Actually, I take that back. If you watch the footage closely, towards the end of the fight, one of my ESCs came loose and was actually amazingly close to getting hit by the spinner, but somehow it didn't. So I did have to glue that back into the frame, but luckily it wasn't hit or damaged really in any way, so it operated fine. Next fight.
Good old-fashioned flip fight.
3, 2, 1, fight!
There they're off. Who will get that first flip? Oh, so close. Got little flips, almost little lips. Ooh, Talyn grabs the wheel, dragging him all around the arena. And only hold him for 30 seconds though. There's the release. 30 seconds. There's another grab, look at that. Wow. Slammed into the wall. 1 minute and 10 seconds till that pin drops. But it's good to have the practice now. Two minutes remaining. Flipper fights are a delicate art. Takes finesse, control, and dexterity instead of brute force. There's a flip. And a good self-right. A unicorn horn of all defense put to good use. 30 seconds until that pin drops. Make some noise for these competitors. That's a fun place to hang out. 10 seconds until the pit drops. Here it comes. Down it goes. Oh, Talyn's stuck on the rail, but gets himself down. Both robots trying to maneuver into the upper hand position. Nice flip there by Talyn. Ooh. Uh-oh. Getting close. Talyn nearly drives himself into the pit. 30 seconds remain.
Do it.
Both robots seem to have no fear of that pit. Talyn coming in with the push. Oh! He gets him there! Absolutely beautiful driving by Talyn.
Red square, ready.
Both competitors are ready.
3, 2, 1, fight.
And off they go. Who will get that first impression, that first flip on the judges? Oh, nearly Talyn. Nearly Talyn again. Warfang backing up. Random speed. Oh! Giving Warfang a little toss. There's a flip. Well done by Talyn. Warfang self-ranks like a pro. Oh, almost. There's another flip. Talyn coming in for another flip. Comes back down, and the grapple with 2 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. 56 seconds until that pit drops. Both robots trying to get the upper hand. Did I say upper lifter? There's, almost a flip. 35 seconds until that pit drops. Good flip by Talyn. You should both lift your arms up and high-five each other. There's a suplex. Woo! Uh-oh. Is he stuck? No, there he goes. And Talyn has him back up. That pit's about to drop.
3, 2, 1.
And down it goes.
Hit him!
Talyn coming in for the grapple. Or another flip that works too. 30 seconds remain. Talyn just can't quite get that grip he needs. Oh no! Talyn nearly dragging himself. 15 seconds remain. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Match over.
Three, two, one, fight!
And they're off, with Talyn blasting right out of the gate, charging at 2B. Uh-oh, big hit there, but Talyn is okay and able to self-right. Ooh, oh no! The lifter of Talyn is very beat up. impressive lift by Talyn. And a nice hit by QB's Revenge. QB's Revenge dancing all over the arena. Is the weapon disabled?
I think she's saving my floor.
It's disabled.
QB's Revenge back on her feet. Oh, there goes the weapon. Front middle piece. The wedge has been ripped off. Talyn backing QB into a corner. Just over 2 minutes remain. QB stuck on her wheel, but as many times before, she is back. Oh no.
Off of the wheel.
We're gonna need some controlled movement here. 30 seconds until the pit drops. Looks like we're gonna have to start a countdown.
Counting.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, knockout! Your winner is Talyn!
Okay, now that fight was a doozy, but believe it or not, the only thing that was really damaged was the lifter and the lifter hinge. The base plate and the frame and everything else actually seemed to hold up pretty well in that fight. Starting with the hinge, if you look at it closely, you can just see that this thing is all screwed up. It doesn't open or close quite right, but as you saw in the fight, it could still kind of work, but it was really bent off to the side. But if we look at the front wedge, this is where the fun really begins. We have this dent at the side, which obviously got hit from the side of the blade and actually tore a hole straight through the Lexan. We also have this little extruding dent at the top that looks like I was somehow hit from underneath the wedge. And then we get to the other side of the wedge, and this is where it really starts getting interesting. So I have, starting from this top corner, all the way down to like the front middle of my wedge is like 2-inch long cut all the way through the Lexan. Again, just like the top, it looks like I was hit from the underside because it's sticking out a little bit at the top, which is pretty crazy, but also really cool. Definitely keeping these as a souvenir. On to the next fight.
Red square, ready. Blue square, ready.
Flipper versus drum spinner.
2, 1, fight.
Talyn out of the gate as quick as possible as usual, and Tsunami up to speed. Ooh, solid hit by Tsunami. Seems to be having some movement trouble again. Talyn taking advantage of this opportunity to get some flips. Tsunami literally driving circles around Talyn. There's a good hit. Uh-oh. Oh, okay, he celebrates. A little worried there. Tsunami being stuck on something right now. Getting into the side of Talyn. Ooh! Ooh! Looks like the scoop is a little bit bent on Talyn now. Talyn now driving backwards, using the old Bronco technique. Just over 2 minutes remain. Tsunami getting underneath Talyn into the underbelly. After hit sends Talyn flying into the air, and again. But it's still going. It can still separate. 35 seconds until that pin drop. Hit after hit. Uh-oh. Looks like the chassis is starting to separate from the base plate. This Talyn dropping some hydraulics we didn't know about. And the pit will drop in 2 seconds. Down it goes. Oh no. Poor Talyn, the big pile. Can it still move though? Kinda. He's still in it. There he goes. 36 seconds remain. Can Talyn turn this around? 30 seconds. But he's still going. What a trooper. Uh-oh. Looks like he can't tell right. We're going to have to start a knockout.
Starting.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Knockout. Your winner, Tsunami.
And here is my BattleBot after the last fight. Yes, this looks really bad, and it kind of is, but then again, it kind of isn't. All of the electronics work perfectly, except maybe one ESC. I might have a broken ESC, I'm not sure, I haven't had a chance to test it yet, but everything else works perfectly. The only thing that really broke is the base plate. All of the edges that was holding my base plate in place with screws have been eaten away, along with part of my front wheel mount. And actually, if you look closely, you can see all of the screws that were holding the base plate in place are still there. It was just the actual plastic around them that got eaten away. Then if we go to the front wedge, you can see the wedge itself is actually in pretty decent condition. However, the side fins have been broken off of both sides. These triangular side fins, that is. And then again, just like in the previous spinner fight, my hinge got bent again, leaving my whole front wedge to kind of dangle at a really bizarre angle. You can also see the outer HDPE got chewed up pretty well, but just the outside. It didn't get anywhere close to going all the way through. That was cool. So obviously I did lose that fight, but Talyn was a trooper. I loved it when he got like completely eaten up and he was kind of twitching, and then all of a sudden he started driving again and everyone was like, what the heck? I myself was surprised, but I love that so much. Now, in case you're wondering, for this fight, I did bring spares of everything. I believe I had 6 base plates, 6 front wedges, and enough electronics to completely rebuild the internals of Talyn at least once. And as far as the price for the damage goes, I believe the whole entire competition, all the damage combined, only cost me about 10 to 15 bucks absolute max, so it wasn't that bad. I really love this new Talyn though. As you can see, he can lift and flip other robots pretty easily, and he can also almost grapple them. He can like pick them up and drive them around, which is also super cool. Plus, since he does have a 4-wheel drive, I was able to outpush a few chicken dinner contenders, which is pretty cool. But with all that being said, there are 3 things I want to change about this design before I fight this robot again. Number 1, I want to print this base plate out of something stronger than PLA, probably nylon. I think that would help it do a lot better. Number 2, I want a slightly beefier hinge, obviously. And lastly, number 3, I want to drop enough weight so that I can afford to bolt on that metal piece to the front of my wedge, or maybe just get a full metal wedge to begin with. But I do want to keep these sharp triangular sides because they almost act as teeth and help me bite into other robots to grapple them around. I guess I could put some secondary teeth underneath the wedge that do the same thing. I really look forward to fighting Talyn again. I had a complete blast this time, and even though we only came in 4th, it was still pretty cool. And so there you guys have it, the November 10th,
2018 Arizona Robotic Combat Competition that Talyn took in and placed 4th.
Well, he didn't place. You get the picture, or videos, you get the video. And thank you so much to Kelly and David Smalls for organizing the event. It was a blast as always. And another thank you to my sister Adria, my mother, mom, and David Smalls again for all of the footage. It is very difficult to film and keep track of the robots since they're driving around at such high speeds, and so as a result there was a few times that the robots completely went out of frame, and so if it wasn't for the other person's footage we wouldn't have a complete picture. So thank you all so much. I would love to hear from you guys in the comments down below though. What'd you think of the video? What'd you think of the competition? What'd you think of Talyn in general? Love to hear it. But hey, thank you so much for you guys watching. I hope you did enjoy this video. And if you did, please feel free to hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and Lord willing, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. And please feel free to subscribe.